All right, folks, welcome to Chattanooga. We're here. This is the view from my mom in the follow car with the sea sucker. There I am. Creature just came to join me. Hopefully she stays quiet. Here we are, Lookout Mountain in Chattanooga. Lookout as check the main episode for this. What you're seeing here is the set to data full effort on Lookout. But I do have a fun full episode where the hand up gloves guys, Troy, showed me around Chattanooga a little bit. I was there for one day, so I didn't get to show you the whole town, but you get the idea. I've always enjoyed Chattanooga. It was a fun day trip up from Atlanta or Athens when I was living there. Really beautiful riding. I didn't scratching the surface with. This climb isn't really the most famous one there. I think Raccoon Mountain is the more kind of coveted local segment, but this one closer to town, I believe, and was the host of national championships a bunch of times, and a bunch of nationals that was kind of the peak of my career was nationals here. I almost won it once. I got caught with a K to go in 2013. 2014, I rode really well I basically pulled the front of the climb pretty much until every lap. It was 4 times up until the second to last. I'm trying to get the breakaway back for Alex Howes. He came in third, ended up bridging across. Heroic move by Alex Howes at that race, but that definitely the team botched that pretty hard. Missed a break of 20 dudes, and there were 4 of us. So that's not a fun day to bring that back. As you can see, Lookout, it's a pretty steady gradient. I think it averages 6.8, 6.9, so the bottom's slightly steeper. There is kind of a dip in one part, but really, really beautiful climb. Kind of trafficy. I guess this goes to the top of Lookout Mountain. There's some tourist attractions, and I guess I'm not gonna say a highway, but the road connects through. So there's some kind of commuter traffic. In my warm-up, I was passed by 2 different pickup trucks, called me a faggot, which normal in the South wearing tights. I think a little bit more so when I've got the Ridge Supply Rainbow Edition socks. Those socks are I would say gayer than average if you're doing it that way. But that was a bummer. That's one of those things. I'm not gay. That's not I'm not insulted by that part, but think about what those folks have to put up with riding around here every day. So I mentioned that on Twitter, and I think they sold out of those socks real quick. So there's some upside. One guy leaned out of his truck, his whole body out of the passenger side. He hung on to something and to yell was all right, man, I don't know, just go on your day. Anyway, I felt good for this one. I felt better than Paris Mountain. I had, if you watched that video, as a previous episode, I had a technical drama and just various headaches that stressed me out that morning and ended up not being the effort I wanted. For this one, I glued on a new tubular, and I was back ready to go. Actually, a local bike shop glued on a new tubular. I did not have to do that myself. But just feeling better on this one, a little more rested. Had a couple days. Found a really good biscuit place in downtown Chattanooga, which probably a bunch of them, but they were quite nice. I love the food in the South. I'll complain about the jerks and pickup trucks calling me offensive things, but I had grits for 2 different meals one day. I had grits and eggs for breakfast and shrimp and grits for dinner. Shrimp and grits is a big Southern thing if you're not familiar. Sorry, I should talk about the climb sometimes. I never know what to talk about on these, but that's me going 450 watts. So I'm watching that and trying to enjoy it, from the safety and comfort of my own home. But you can see my heart rate's really responsive here. Seeing 180 and being able to sustain that means that I'm more recovered than I had been. It's kind of a weird thing with heart rate. A lot of people will look at it and say, riding 180 watts and your heart rate is 200, that's kind of a sign of fitness, which it is. That means you're going hard for that power. But also if you're, relative to your normal heart rate, if this makes sense, if you find it going up and down. This is a thing, like Whoop has the heart rate variability, but if you find like when you stop at a red light and your heart rate goes super low real quick, and then if you do an effort and your heart rate goes super high, that means you're fresh. That means you're recovered. You're ready to do good training, and that was kind of what I was at here. Being able to normally an effort like this would probably be in the 170s if I was fatigued. The gradient in this portion is not correct. It's steep. It's not that steep. It's funny, like going to places that I'm not going to say Chattanooga's remote, but compared to Los Angeles, where Strava has just way more data. There's a segment for every inch of road in LA. Like you do a climb and you get 60 KOMs in one hill, and out here it's like 3, because people aren't lunatics. I don't know what goes on in the major cities, but LA and San Francisco are probably among the worst with Strava weirdness. But so out here, you go out and like the data that they have to make this stuff is a little bit off sometimes, which can affect the live segments when you're riding on. Which I use the live segments religiously. So here you have we're 25% gradient and 4 miles an hour. Go ahead and ignore that. 40%. It's an old segment. Or I'm really, really fast. It's one of those two. The power and the heart rate are accurate. The other stuff is getting from old someone's Garmin that they uploaded 10 years ago. But here you can see all the lookouts. It is a beautiful climb. It's just on this hill, it's a good. Actually, it wasn't that bad of a pass. I want to complain about the pass. It wasn't that bad. It was a little bit rainy that day. I got lucky. It was dumping rain overnight, and then it was supposed to keep raining, and it stopped. It was quite polite for my climb here. But you see a really cool view to the left. Just like this nice ridge that kind of cruises up all the way around. We're not too far. We're not 2/3 of the way up. So like pace wise, I'm happy. I think I was probably up like 5 or 6 seconds on the live segment, so I know I can't explode. But I also, like, thinking back, I was in the race when this KOM was set. Frankly, I'm pretty sure I was on the front of the climb until probably the feed zone. It was Lucas User had the KOM, so he would have come off of like the front group probably splintered in the last bit. You'll see like the KOM section is a little bit steep, so you'd split up on the feed zone, and then you got a descent to kind of regroup or coast or whatever. So I think Lucas would have split up on that and got a couple seconds ahead of the rest of the group, but for the most part we were all together there. Here's the kind of recovery, which is it's well timed. It's a nice bit of recovery for being able to go ahead and really push the last bit where it gets steep. So I kind of took advantage of that, chilled out a little bit, and 5 seconds of coasting is something. It counts. And now I get my cadence back up on these little accelerations. I like to do, for accelerations, high cadence helps. People ask about cadence a lot, and cadence is this thing of I think it's individual. Like some folks are more efficient at 80 or versus 100. I think honestly mine depends on how fresh I am. So the way I end up doing it, this isn't like I think about it, but this is sort of what happens. I always feel like cadence is like breathing. If you say if you're thinking inhale, exhale, that's weird. You should just sort of pedal the rate that feels right once you're efficient enough at anything. So maybe put in some effort to be smooth at 100 cadence and learn how to do that and the one-legged drill, stuff like that. But once you're past it, I wouldn't say this is the cadence you should be for a climb or a time trial. I don't really think, watch a pro race and there's, you'll see every different range of it. It's kind of just comfort and what guys are good at. But I find I'll do a higher cadence at the beginning. So for accelerations, I'll do a high cadence, but in general, you'll see my cadence go down over the course of effort. And what that feels like to me, and this is not backed up by any science, is at the beginning I'm wearing out my lungs, right? You're spinning high, and that's less muscle strain and less maybe less torque. I'm not a physicist. I'm not a high school volleyball coach. I'm not a senator of the United States. I'm a person who rides bikes and makes YouTube videos. There's a million things that I'm not. It'd be long to list those. But look at this waterfall. I'm going to shut up. Enjoy the waterfall. Oh, I scared that bird. Okay, now I can talk again. So what I think about with cadence is I'm wearing out my lungs, say the first half, and then as we go towards the end, I'll do a lower gear, a lower cadence, and now I'm kind of wearing out my muscles. Like if I'm grinding a low gear at the beginning, I feel like that's going to wear out my legs. And this is like a perceived thing. This is not an intellectual concept. But it feels like, I'll grind a lower gear that last couple minutes when I'm squeezing everything out, and it's okay to get that muscle burn. Whereas at the beginning, you keep it light, you're kind of shaking your legs while you pedal. So we're approaching the end here. There's one more turn that goes up through the neighborhood in the feed zone. And it's funny, like all this, I can just have flashbacks of nationals, of where I was on the road and the time gaps I was getting. Well, we were doing that whole year. This is in my book, but the break had 20 dudes, and we only had 4 guys to ride. And it was one of those things like, we're the only big World Tour team in the race. And it's not like we're big. We only have a few guys. But responsibility's on us if you missed a break of 20. But our director did not want us to go to the front on the flat part in town. He was like, we're not controlling the race and giving everybody a free ride. And I was kind of like, well, we missed our chance for the break. So that was just what we should have been doing. So instead, what we did was we would just go to the climb and go insane, and I would empty the tank every time and split the group into, there'd be 10 guys left, and we would take a minute and a half, 2 minutes out of the break, and then we'd coast and lose that time on the downhill, and literally did that 3 times up on the climb. And the thing is, to his credit, it almost worked, but it was just, we could have just burned one guy, got the breakaway the last time up, and then pretty sure Howes would have won because he was the strongest guy that day. He bridged across to break the last lap and sprinted. Like I said in the video, that's Alex Howes' bitterness, and he won nationals later, or he'd still be mad about it. I'm guessing he forgave it. So here it's flatter, and I'm basically falling apart and done with it. That's it from this effort in Chattanooga. Thanks. I'll talk to you next time.